Martin. I'm along with my partner, William Waffle Fan Show, and we're here for another episode of A Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. What? How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Good, good. Like I told you before, we got a baseball tournament coming up here at Carson and Southland College baseball tournament. So it's gonna be a long weekend for sure, but
Oh yeah.
should be a lot of fun down in Smokies Stadium. But I've been busy.
Yeah, just chilling, just working, doing all that. Ain't nothing really much going on.
Yeah.
Ready for the draft. The draft's Thursday night. I'm very excited. Very, very, very excited. Cannot wait. So
Yes, and that kind of rolls into what I want to talk about first here with the draft, of course. Big night for a lot of people, for a lot of players, and a lot of teams looking to improve their standing and looking to become the next stars. And we'll kind of go through the draft. And what I want to talk about first is we're just going to look at the kind of the first round, of course. We could do a deep dive, but we're tired and don't have time for that right now.
Right.
But let's kind of talk about our teams first. Let's talk about our teams first and what you think they need to get in the first round. We'll start with the Titans. The Titans, of course, last year made it to had a great run. Got the number one overall seed, but unfortunately lost to the Cincinnati Bengals in the playoffs. Of course, the Bengals went on to win the AFC Championship, playing the Super Bowl. A lot of guys talking about, maybe they're playing Ryan Tannehill, maybe they're playing the offensive line, maybe you need another receiver for Ryan Tannehill to help him out. Looking at mock drafts and looking at the 7th-round ESPN Matt Miller mock draft, and then I'm also looking at Bucky Brooks and NFL Network's mock draft. Both of them have offensive guards going to the Titans. They have the 26th pick in the 3rd round.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, Bucky Brooks, has Kenyon Green from Texas A&M. And then Matt Miller has Zion Johnson of Boston College. And Zion Johnson, his roommate at Boston College was Mike Vrabel's son, Tyler. So there's a little history there. But what direction do you think the Titans need to go, especially in the first round?
Well, offensive line, you can never go wrong with it. Obviously, Tennessee has hit and missed on offensive linemen in the past. I think Nate Davis a couple years ago in the 3rd round was a hit, turned into a pretty good starter. And then obviously Isaiah Wilson a couple years ago, 1st-round pick, did not end up great at all. And he is not, I don't think he's even in the NFL anymore. So you can't go wrong with offensive line. We're losing Roger Saffold at left guard. And then we've lost our right tackle, David Quessenberry. Ironically, both of them going to the Bills, which is kind of odd, but
yeah.
Yeah. So Saffold and Quessenberry gone. So that leaves Lawan at left tackle. Ben Jones just got a new contract, so he'll still be under center, or he'll be the center. And right guard is going to be Nate Davis. So I wouldn't be mad if they went left guard here. I think Zion Johnson's would be a heck of a pick, but I mean, who knows? It could end up like, anybody can end up like Isaiah Wilson, and I'm just so burned from that whole situation. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah.
But if it's there, I feel like Tennessee, you have to take a wide receiver. I feel like you have to take a wide receiver if you get one of the guys that you like. Obviously, no, the people that I like Olave from, Ohio State. Jameson Williams from Alabama. I like that a lot. Obviously, he is coming off that torn ACL, so we'll see how far he falls. I highly doubt he falls to 26, but if Jameson Williams is there at 26, I'm sprinting to the podium to grab him. And I don't know. I also think quarterback. I don't think quarterback is out of the question for Tennessee. If they really think they have their guy, and Vrabel has connections to Ritter through Cincinnati because he's good friends with Luke Fickell. So I've heard a lot about Ritter, but I really don't see them taking a quarterback with 26. I'd probably be upset if they did. But
I could see him taking like a late round guy to maybe be like a bench guy to be like, hey, here's some competition. But
if I could have it go exactly how I want it to, like I want to draft Olave, Garrett Mitchell, or not Garrett Mitchell. What's Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson or Jameson Williams or I'll draft Zion Johnson or a guard. I wouldn't be upset about that.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to pick up my ideal quarterback. I would like to try Bailey Zappi.
Yeah.
In like the 3rd round or 4th round, something like that, whatever he's going to go. I mean, I wouldn't be upset with that, but I feel like Tennessee will pick up a quarterback somewhere in this draft because obviously, tons of stuff surrounding Ryan Tannehill, and he's still going to be the quarterback, and he's still got that massive contract right now. So we'll give him another year, but I mean, obviously, if it doesn't go well this year, it's a lot less expensive to get rid of him next year. So that could be an option, just depending. And it'd be nice to have the next guy in the back pocket waiting. So
yeah, for sure.
But if Tennessee takes a linebacker at 26, you all will hear me scream. I swear, if we take a freaking linebacker, I don't know. He's not even going to be there. But if Nakobe Dean is there, I've seen that name a lot. If he's at 26 and we take him, I'm going to fight somebody. But if somebody that we don't really need, but is also a defensive player, that if he's there at 26, I would be very ecstatic to have him, is Jordan Davis from Georgia.
Yeah.
If he's there, I'd be like, yeah, take him. Screw that wide receiver. I don't care. Our defensive line is going to go down as the greatest of all time.
Yeah, but sure.
No linebackers, please God.
As soon as the words, if Roger Goodell steps up and goes, line, you're just going to hear Waffle screaming from Greenwood. That loud, ear-piercing scream across the South.
I'm going to wake the dead with my scream. Like, it's going to be bad.
Oh, man. So, yeah, a lot of directions Tennessee can go. Another team that's got a lot of directions, team picking in front of them, the Buffalo Bills. Of course, the Bills last year made it to the second round of the playoffs, lost to the Chiefs in a heck of a game. There's a lot of directions that the Bills can go and kind of directions the Bills need to go. Wide receiver has been talked about. Even running backs been talked about. Of course, needing to get that run game going, like I mentioned a lot last year. And, of course, even offensive line, which you can never go wrong with offensive line pick, it feels like, in the draft. The two ones I've seen, Matt Miller has Trent McDuffie, the cornerback from Washington, going to the Bills, while Bucky Brooks has Breece Hall, the running back from Iowa State, going to the Bills. And I like both of those because I like Breece Hall because I feel like the Bills need a running back that can catch the ball and run with it.
Yes.
And before they got the deal done with Von Miller, and before they gave more money out to Stephon Diggs, the Bills were rumored to look after James Conner because he's a running back that can catch out the backfield and can run solidly. And I was a guy like, oh, man, I would love to have that, be kind of a companion piece for that backfield and help the Bills, because Zach Moss is more of a power back, and then Singletary is kind of a guy who can kind of catch and run as well. But of course, they spend the money on Diggs and Miller, which is great. That's what you need to do. Go ahead and get a defensive lineman and, of course, lock down Diggs for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But you also let Levi Wallace walk. And Levi was big for the Bills last year, especially when Trey White went down with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Missed most of the back part of the season. Now you're looking at you need to fill another cornerback slot. So I could see Trent McDuffie working out. The only thing, of course, you have the unwritten rule is you don't draft a running back in the first round.
Right.
And, there have been exceptions. Adrian Peterson is the biggest one, of course, for the Vikings. The Vikings do not regret drafting him 7th overall. But, you have Saquon Barkley, who, when he's on and when he's healthy, he's one of the best running backs in the league. But he's been so injured the past few years that it hasn't really mattered. They're just paying a bunch of money to him. So,
right.
It'd be interesting to see. I think, I don't think you need to go get Breece Hall, especially in the first round. He could be there in the second round. I do like McDuffie from Washington. He's not very big is the only thing about him. Only 5'10", 193, but he's more of a lockdown guy and kind of like a scrappy type of guy.
Yeah.
The one name I've seen, though, that I would like is Darion Kendrick from Georgia. After that rough COVID year against Clemson, came back strong for Georgia, part of one of the best defenses ever. That would be huge to see the Bills get that and bolster up that safety position, some get that defense. Some might for sure.
Yeah, I don't like. I think you do need a running back. In Buffalo, Zach Moss and Singletary have been,
yeah,
just as an outsider's perspective. I mean, to me, like they've never really wowed me. I mean, obviously they have their games where they do what they do, but I feel like we've said it for 3 years now. Like the Bills have to establish a running game, and whether that be the offensive line's fault or the running back's fault, I mean, I guess it could be kind of both, but
yeah.
I mean, you've had those same running backs for 2-3 years now, and it's just not really working. So I wouldn't mind seeing them bring somebody else in, but then again, it comes into question. First round running back, I doubt it.
Yeah, that's the only thing. You don't want to spend that money. Also, of course, Tyler Smith, Tulsa. I feel like there's a lot of people who want to get him.
Yeah,
he's a good offensive tackle. Or Bernard Raymond, Central Michigan, another offensive tackle. So
yeah,
again,
I mean, I feel like you can find a running back that'll. I don't think there's a running back that really just like jumps out and is like, oh my god, first rounder, 100%.
Yeah.
So I think you can find a running back later, and I like the idea of taking another cornerback to go opposite Trey White and bolster that defense, because the defense is already pretty good, and if you bolster that defense and you got Josh Allen on the other side, like, I mean, you're going to win a ton of football games.
Yeah, for sure. So that's what our teams need. Now let's kind of go through some of these mock drafts. We'll just go through the top 10 and if I see anything that kind of jumps out. Number one pick, of course, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They did bolster in the offseason, helped Trevor Lawrence with some receivers, some offensive linemen. Did pay a bunch of money to some of these receivers.
Yeah, thanks, Jacksonville. Now everybody's wanting money like Debo and A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Not saying they don't deserve it, but this is all Jacksonville's fault.
Yeah, it changed the landscape about a bunch of the players. And of course, free agency. But now you kind of wonder, well, what direction the Jags go in the draft. And a lot of people are thinking defense. Some people are thinking offensive line. NFL Network says Ike Ekwonu, the offensive tackle from NC State, to build a big offensive line to protect, of course, your number one draft pick in Trevor Lawrence. But there's been a lot of buzz with Trayvon Walker from Georgia. Could be moving up.
Wait, so you said one has Ekwonu going number one overall?
Yeah.
My God, that's ridiculous. This freaking the Matt Miller one has him going 9. Like, that's what I like. This draft is, I would argue, it's not as exciting as past years, but at the same time, there's potential for chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there's plenty of good players, don't get me wrong, but there's not that those with that 1, 2, 3 guys that you just know, like, this is going to be a difference maker. This guy is the face of a franchise. Like, everybody just knows it's about to be huge.
Yeah.
Like Jadeveon Clowney, like when he came out, and obviously that didn't pan out, exactly how they thought it was going to go. But like the hype around that, the hype around Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston going 1 and 2. The hype around Andrew Luck and freaking RG3 going 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just feel like this year doesn't really have that. And there's a lot of potential for, oh, yeah, Ekwonu could go number 1. Oh, but he could also go number 9. So who really knows?
Yeah.
But that Trayvon Walker kid, like, that's just crazy. I legit had not heard his name until Trey said something to me yesterday.
Yeah.
Now I look everywhere and he's all number 1, and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? Where did he come from?
Yeah.
It's not like the combine was yesterday.
Exactly.
Like, what just happened?
Yeah, because a lot of people talk about Kayvon Thibodeau, who probably be the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Now it's like, they don't Trayvon Walker. It's like,
I just pray that whatever decision the Jaguars make is the wrong one. That's all I can hope and pray for.
Oh, man.
And you know what? My gut's telling me that all this sudden buzz for Trayvon Walker means that's the wrong decision. So Jacksonville, take him.
Of course. Number 2, it's kind of been a lock. Both of these have Aiden Hutchinson, Michigan-born kid, going to Detroit. Also that defensive line.
Yeah.
And the literally just says the Lions are in a great position to draft whichever top defensive end the Jags don't take.
Yep.
So, I mean, They got lucky with Panay Sewell last year, and the guy's like, hey,
Yeah.
all right, we got somebody else this year. So
Yeah. So Lions, you're good to go. Just
Yeah.
just wait it out.
yeah, you're good. The Houston Texans, who are once listed as needs everything at one
Yes,
point in the
love
draft,
that.
Derek Stingley from LSU or Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. So it looks like corner is the way they're going to go. Of course,
They're both corners, right?
Yep. So I heard a lot more about Sauce Gardner. Of course, he had a great season. Heck, even Alabama didn't even throw it to him in the red zone in that playoff.
Yeah.
Game. So very
the way I think about it, it's always like obviously Sauce Gardner has garnered a ton of attention. People bringing up his stats, which were crazy and whatever. It's going with the popular pick or going with the, let's say, homegrown SEC talent. I mean, I feel like that's what it boils down to. And that's not to say that just because he's a defensive back from LSU, he's going to be all world. Alabama's players don't always, pan out. Nobody's players always pan out like that. Like I was watching, I've been really wanting to mention this. I watched a video the other day. There's a YouTube channel called KTO. I don't know if you know what that is, Richard. Yeah. He put out a video about what happened to the top 10 draft picks from 10 years ago. And one of them was Morris Claiborne from LSU.
Oh, yeah,
and that boy sucked.
Yeah.
And then on Twitter today, Fox NFL or something put out a tweet saying like these are the highest picked defensive players out of the last like 10 drafts. And Claiborne was one of them because he was a top 10 pick. And and the post said, all of these guys have gone on to do great things. And I'm like, what? No, he's not. He didn't do anything. He made it through his rookie deal and then bounced around teams. And now he's not in the league.
Yeah.
So do your research. But anyway.
Yeah. Moving down the Jets. Boy, oh boy. It looks like either way, Trayvon Walker might get screwed. He's either going to Jacksonville or going to the Jets.
Yeah.
To these drafts. Also, Evan Neal from Alabama could be a surprise. Of course, the guy gets more protection for Zach Wilson. And of course, Mekhi Becton's been injured, so
yep,
give you some help. But yeah, that's a rough deal for Walker. Where it's like, all right, the Jags or the Jets.
Oh no, that sucks.
So do you want to be cold and miserable or hot and miserable?
I'd rather be. Oh, I don't know.
You got the Florida humidity or the freezing cold winter?
I don't know. As much as I like being cold and I like wearing hoodies and all kinds of stuff, if I'm going to be miserable, I'd probably rather be at least somewhere where the weather's really nice.
Yeah.
Seasonal depression's a real thing. And
if
it's cold all the time, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would suck. Looking at the Giants. The Giants may go get Evan Neal if he's available. Or they may look at getting Kayvon Thibodeau. So interesting to see what happened there. Thibodeau is one of the weirdest guys because you talk about, a lot of people were like, at the beginning of the year, like, oh, this could be the number one pick. And then, of course, he didn't. Mm-hmm. He got injured. Oregon didn't play great last year. He didn't play great to start the season, but finished off pretty good toward the end. And, of course, the Utah games happened. And they just kind of fell off a cliff with Doug Sand Thibodeau. And since then, it's kind of been like, well, he could be top 5, or he could be top 20 pick. So that's going to be interesting to see where he falls to.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I've seen, of course, Matt Miller says the Jets will try to trade with Carolina to get another pick. And that would be Sauce Gardner, which would be interesting to see. That would be, according to Matt Miller, that would be getting Evan Neal and Sauce Gardner, which is pretty solid haul to start off. If you look at Bucky Brooks, though, he has the Panthers staying, and a lot of people have been kind of thinking the Panthers might look at Kenny Pickett. Of course, Dave Tepper, the owner, went to Pitt. They really liked Pitt, his workout. They went to Pitt's pro day. But also seeing that Panthers might go get Charles Cross, offensive tackle from Mississippi State. So it's kind of like, you got the protection, but is that going to help Sam Darnold or Cam Newton? It might help Christian McCaffrey, but if he gets hurt, you got to throw it.
Right.
Questions about the Panthers. A lot of questions about the Panthers. You can go. The Giants actually have 2 top 10 picks. They have 5 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Got one from Chicago. One of them says they'll get Charles Cross, Mississippi State, and the one says they get Derek Stingley Jr. So I think it's one of those where it's like, all right, whoever's not available early, we'll get them later. So we'll see. Looking at pick 8, the Falcons. Probably going to go wide receiver, of course, with no Calvin Ridley this year, and then, of course, no Russell Gage as he left. You got to look at a wide receiver. So looking at to see who Marcus Mariota can throw to.
Yeah.
He gets there. Drake London out of USC. He looked really good. He's one of their kind of like a big guy, kind of like Kyle Pitts a little bit. He played some tight ends as well. And then Garrett Wilson, Ohio State's another one.
Yeah.
You could see. And then just looking through the rest, we have Equanu down at 9 on one of these drafts, the NC State. So that would be interesting to see. Looking at the quarterback class. Quarterback class, again, is kind of one of these classes that's not great. If you look at these mock drafts, Matt Miller has Kenny Pickett going to the Panthers with trade with the Jets. And that's that pick the Jets have with the Seahawks. And that would be the first quarterback pick at number 10. But Bucky Brooks has the first quarterback not getting picked till number 20, and that would be the Steelers, and they would pick Malik Willis of Liberty. And the thing about Malik Willis, I think he has a chance to be very good. He looks kind of like, Lamar Jackson 2.0. The thing is, he has a lot of that raw talent Josh Allen has, and everybody is starting to think, oh, yeah, everybody can be like Josh Allen. You can just – it's like Josh Allen just kind of showed up and was really good with that. Like, he had the quickest development of any quarterback ever coming after college. After his first 2 years when he was not great. He was fine. Well, he wasn't great until his third year.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be a lot of pressure, especially on the Steelers in a tough division where you've got to be ready to go. And, of course, with the quarterbacks, you have Watson if he plays this year. You have Lamar Jackson, and then you have Joe Burrow. Now you need is like, all right, Malik Willis step up. Now, yes, they have Mitchell Trubisky, who I think is still a solid quarterback. I don't think he got the Bears to the playoffs. I will always say that. But man, it's just I think a lot of people were putting a lot into this guy and are wanting him to do great. And he can, not to be wrong, but man, you're asking a lot of him, I think.
Yeah. I agree, but like it just same thing. Like I just don't feel like any quarterback really jumps off. Like I mean, I like Kenny Pickett a lot, and I mean, I feel like my mind tells me that he could be Justin Herbert-esque, type quarterback. But I think that's mostly just because they kind of look similar. But I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Both those mock drafts have Malik Willis going to the Steelers, so that'll be very interesting. The Steelers went to almost every quarterback's pro day this year, so you gotta think they're gonna draft a quarterback. So interesting to see. They could go with Pickett, a hometown kid. Well, hometown isn't playing Pitt. They could go with Willis. That's probably the 2 best options because I don't think Sam Howell's going to be picking up early. Except somehow the Vikings got sort of getting talked about getting Sam Howell, which I think was just a rumor somebody spread, but it started getting some traction to where you were like, no, they're not.
We just have to hope and pray that Howell winds up being better than Trubisky was.
Yeah, for sure.
Something I am interested and am intrigued by with Miller's mock draft, Jordan Davis at 17 to the Chargers.
Yeah.
That would Khalil Mack fresh out there. Now Khalil Mack's older, obviously, but that would be a complete revamp of that defense, and that would be very fun to watch. Which it's already going to be. The AFC West is just unreal.
Yeah,
and it's already going to be crazy watching that division beat up on each other. And ironically, Tennessee has to play all of them, so get to see them up close and personal. But that's gonna be wild.
Yeah, it's gonna be real crazy. Andrew Booth for Clemson. They have them to the Patriots and Matt Miller's to try to be the replacement for J.C. Jackson. So that could be interesting. He was really good.
Yeah,
in college for sure. Also, you have a UConn player getting drafted in the first round.
Man,
Travis Jones from UConn, defensive tackle. Must have been the only good player at UConn.
had to be. Had to be.
Oh man, that's all I can think about. I saw that, I was like, okay, let's go. By the way, Matt Miller has Nakobe Dean dropping to the second round for the Jags, so that'll be interesting to see.
He'll get picked at 26. Watch it.
He will.
I will die.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna look at this. Let's see who they are. Mr. Irrelevant is. Mr. Irrelevant is Slade Bolden, Alabama, the 49ers. So that's who they've got. Oh man, Charleston Rambo for the Chargers. I still love that guy's name. So
yeah,
the only reason I see that. So that'll be interesting to see. Draft starts Thursday night. Gonna be a lot of fun. That's always fun. Always fun to watch that and see what's happening. I just hope it's not like the last time we watched it together, where it's like, this guy gets drafted. Now his father died, but
my
alligators hit him in the face, and ate him, and then his mother also died. I'm like, please stop. Stop with this. That was the 2020 draft, the COVID one, where it felt like everybody had a sad story, and it was like, please stop. I think of you. But yeah, draft starts Thursday in Las Vegas. Should be a lot of fun. I'll be watching it from a baseball tournament, so see how that goes. But we'll roll on to the NBA, and we got a couple of playoff series have wrapped up, or at least one has wrapped up. A couple now are getting close to ending. We'll kind of start with, I don't think of where to start off. Well, let's just kind of pick up here with, let's go from last night. We're recording on Tuesday. Let's go from last night because this is the big one. Boston and Brooklyn. That was the big series we talked about on Easter. Had the best game of the playoffs. And you're thinking, man, this series is going to be great. Second game, Boston takes out 114-107. Still a fun game, but Celtics win. And then all of a sudden, game 3, it's like, okay, Ben Simmons is back. Ben Simmons might be back. First time we've seen him in a while. First time I've seen him in a Nets uniform. He's back. And it's like, oh, no, Ben Simmons not playing. And the Celtics pull off the 109-103 win in Brooklyn. And then it comes to game 4, 3-0. Simmons is down. Right. Simmons is going to be back. All right, Simmons is back. Here we go. And Simmons is not going back. Not at all. And the Celtics win it 116-112. The scoreboard does not reflect how this was at one point. This was a big lead late for the Celtics. And the Celtics pull away to win this one, despite Jason Tatum getting his 6th foul call, which was interesting. Everything in their power, the officials did to try to keep the Nets in this one, it seemed like. Kevin Durant went off for 39 points. On 31 shots, yes, but still, he was kind of carrying that team. But the Nets, who were the number 1 pick by Vegas to win the NBA championship, get swept.
Yep.
First have to win the play-in game to get in, and then get swept by the Celtics, including the last game at home. This has got to be besides the Lakers, who were the second consensus pick by Vegas to win the West, and second most picked team to win the championship. This has got to be the biggest disappointment, especially when you did that trade to get Simmons and to get those guys.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to hate. I love Kevin Durant. I love Kevin Durant. I think he is one of the best. He's one of the top players of all time and one of the top ones still in the league right now. And I love Kyrie Irving too. That man, regardless of what he believes in and how you feel about whatever he thinks, that boy can play basketball. And when he does play basketball, he's very good. They just had too much going on, man. They got way too much drama. And then at first, like KD, Durant, Kyrie, like I feel like we've seen it time and time again where these teams try to bring in, three guys who are the center of attention now, and it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, LeBron did that. LeBron, when he went to Miami, him and Wade and Bosh coming together, and it worked 2 out of 4 years. But you just have to get people to buy in, and I just don't. Harden, with how he plays, is ball hoggish. I mean, I don't think anybody would deny that.
Right.
He takes a lot of shots. He's gonna slow you down and make you foul him, and he's gonna go to the line and play a very methodical kind of game. And Kevin Durant's more of good all around player, but Kevin Durant's gonna take his mid range shots. He's gonna take his 3-point shots, catch and shoot. He's a heck of a scorer. And Kyrie as well operates best with the ball in his hands. So how is that going to work?
Yeah.
I always thought that was going to be iffy. And then they traded away James Harden, and then I thought with Simmons coming in, if he played, I thought it could be interesting because I like Ben Simmons a lot. I think that man is a heck of a basketball player. He just can't shoot, which is ridiculous. But he's an unreal scorer around the rim and can do just about anything. But I mean, at this point, with him not playing in this series, I've about lost all the respect for him. I just don't care anymore. And I don't think it'll really make that big of a difference for the Nets, because I think he's just, people in Philadelphia are sick of him and can't stand him. And now people in Brooklyn are sick of him and can't stand him. And he hasn't played a game in over a year. So,
yeah.
Not good.
For sure. I mean, also got to give credit to the Celtics. The Celtics were on the edge of playing that playing game, jumped all the way to number 1, and held on for the 2 seed. So,
yeah.
Got to give it up for the Celtics for how they closed out, for sure. Jason Tatum had a heck of a series. And this one, Marcus Smart played well, and Jaylen Brown, of course, was kind of a dagger. Al Horford also came up big for the Celtics. One guy gave up, Blake Griffin, a guy who's kind of transformed his game to more of a defensive player. He didn't have any points, but he had 4 assists, a steal, and 3 rebounds in 18 minutes. He was all over the place trying to will the Nets back into this one. The way he has changed his game, because remember, he was just the guy that would just dunk on everybody. And now he's a big defensive guy as he's gotten older, and he has done very well. And he had worked in Detroit for a little bit, got Detroit to the playoffs 1 year, and then, of course, working well with Brooklyn too. So, big time with Blake Griffin. But gotta be disappointed for the Nets. They go 44-38. Again, part of that, you couldn't have Kyrie play most of the season at home, and then just fall to the Celtics and get swept in the first round. So that's gotta be disappointing for sure for the Nets. Moving on, a series that is on the edge of getting done. They will play again not till Wednesday. Milwaukee and Chicago. Bucks lead at 3-1. Bulls took game 2, 114-110. Game 3, 111-81 for the Bucks win. That's the largest loss in Bulls playoff history. And you got to think about how long the Bulls have been very good and have been on to the playoffs. Bad that's happened there.
Yeah.
And they lose 119-95. This one's probably all that wrapped up, you got to think, especially with Zach LaVine's going to be out for this next game. And Alex Caruso's also had some nagging injuries. So it's going to be all on DeMar DeRozan. You got to think of the Bulls. And that's, with the way Giannis has been playing in this series, just absolutely dominating the side. It's not looking good for the Bulls here.
Yeah, and they're going back to Milwaukee too. So, I just pencil Milwaukee in.
Yeah. That's things, because, again, the Bulls, big rebound season, looked great early. Got the first seed at the All-Star break, and it just all kind of fell apart toward the end. So, but, hey, DeMar DeRozan, everybody laughs that trade wouldn't work out. It wouldn't work out for him or the Bulls. And had a heck of a year. So,
I still feel so bad for him because they axed him out of Toronto and then they won a championship.
Yep.
It feels dirty. It's not. It's just not. It's a business.
Yeah.
But it feels dirty, and I hate it for him.
For sure. Looking again, this series, thought this one would be closed out. But psych, it's not. Toronto and Philly are going to go to a game 6 after Toronto wins 2 straight after losing their first 3. they get the win at home in Canada, and they go to Philly and blow out the Sixers 103-88. Charles Barkley said, and I think it's true, this is a 7-game series now.
Yeah.
I think because Philly's got to go back to Canada. That's a tough place to play. Jurassic Park's always jumping. And if you can't close it there, then you got to go back to Philly. And and all of a sudden, it's like you got to win one game. And Doc Rivers and these 3-0 leads.
Yeah.
Just have not been able to close it out. And it's going to be. We're going to have a discussion a little bit if the Sixers blow this 4 straight. Especially, of course, everybody's talking about Joel Embiid MVP. He's played great this year, of course. This season against Toronto, he's averaged 29 points a game.
Yeah.
But, man, it's very interesting to see, the Philadelphia just kind of take their foot off the gas pedal a bit late in the series.
Yeah, for sure. Toronto's played really well, and now they're going back to Toronto, like you said, back in Canada. So they rattle off Game 6 win. I mean, that Game 7 is going to be the 76ers is going to be on their heels, and Toronto is going to be ready to attack and take this whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, James Harden, he's done fine as in the first loss, 110-102. He had 22 points, but just 29% from the field. Only had 15 points. Did have 7 assists though in the 100-88 loss. But yeah, since having a double in that overtime victory, not a whole lot speak of Harden in this series. So gotta get him going for sure. If they're going to do anything, if the 76ers are going to move on to the next round, because if not, it's over. And you got to talk a lot of questions about Doc Rivers and the Sixers moving forward too.
I agree.
Sure. Looking again, another series that it probably could be over, but we'll see. They're playing right now, and Miami has a 8-point lead in the third quarter on Atlanta. It's 3-1. Miami leads the series. Jimmy Butler has just been going off.
Yes.
The entire series. And then, of course, Trae Young, despite, Game 3, 111-110, that was a crazy game. But Trae Young was able to get going. Trae Young has just been smothered in this series. And as we're recording, he has 7 points and 2 of 9 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3. He's their only form of offense. When you have Deontay Hunter, you're going to have to has a leading point scorer. That's not an episode for success. And it's still a game because the Heat don't have Jimmy Butler tonight. But you have Adebayo, Oladipo, and Struss all have double digits already. So that's just a big three-handed. That's big boy basketball, just smothering Trae Young, and Tyler Hero's got 9 points off the bench. So that's tough series for the Hawks again, man. They're the one Atlanta team that can't shake it. It seems like.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And I thought, after the little run they had last year, that they were here to stay and they were going to be a threat, but guess not.
Yeah, for sure. Looking over Dallas and Utah, going to go to the Game 6 on. They'll play again on Thursday. Wow. I'll play on Monday. That makes sense. Going back to Utah, Dallas leads at 3-2, a chance to close it out as the Mavs go off 102-77. Luka Doncic is back. And boy, is he a difference maker for this Mavs team, because without him, it was tied at 2. The Jazz won a 1-point game. The Mavs won a game 126-18. A lot of close games here. First game back, Luka drops 33 points on the Jazz, and they just had no clue how to stop him. And I think we both said that'll be the difference maker, and he was. The Jazz scored more than 20 points in just the fourth quarter. Well, at that point, the game was basically over. So, defense and offense have just been what he gives to the Mavs, and they will look to just end this one with 40 against the Jazz.
Yeah, that series has been great. Doncic is electric, and Brunson has been playing very, very well also. So
Looking at another series, 3-1 lead for Golden State. Almost swept the Nuggets, but Nuggets big time plays from Nikola Jokic in that game
mhm.
4 as they hold on. They're up big, and the Warriors come all the way back.
Yeah.
Almost blow it. The Nuggets able to pull it off 126, 121. They do have to go back to San Francisco tomorrow, but and so that's going to be a tough place for the Nuggets to play. But man, I think Denver, if Jokic keeps playing as he does, have a chance to extend this series. I don't think they have a chance to win it, but with Jokic on that team, I'll never count them out.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I like Jokic a lot. But though this Warriors team is playing dang good basketball at the moment, and the emergence of Jordan Poole as the third Splash brother, call him the Splash triplets. He's unreal. They're all playing so good, and it's not fair. It's not fair at all.
Yeah, for real. And then of course Draymond Green coming back has helped that team as well.
Right. Also, Jokic, they won the game, and Jokic was 3 of 5 from downtown.
Yep. Yep. Got to have him make threes
But
in the game. So.
but did he make a 3-pointer in game 3 though? Is what I want to know. Yeah. He did. Okay, well. But they played better. Okay, so the key to their success is Jokic hitting threes. Yeah. I'm gonna die on that hill.
Jokic goes off for 10 3-pointers. They lose by 20. Well,
God bless. All right, well, just kill me then.
Oh man. Other series going on right now: Memphis and Minnesota. What's been a fun one? They're tied at 2 apiece. Minnesota is up by 2 at halftime. John Morant's got to get going. Is what it's happening, it seems like, in the series, because no Steven Adams, really. He's kind of been kept in check by Karl-Anthony Towns. Desmond Bane, though, has picked it up big. He has 15 points tonight on 5 of 10 shooting. Ja does have 5 rebounds, 7 assists, but only 6 points.
Yeah.
4 turnovers. That's not going to be great.
He's 2 of 7 from the line. He's missed 5 free throws.
Yeah. It's not great. Got to get him going for the Grizzlies to avoid the upset loss. This is a good T-Wolves team, of course. Karl-Anthony Towns does have some foul trouble early, so he has 7 points, but Anthony Edwards has 14 points. And both teams are not shooting great for 3. T-Wolves are 8 of 20. Grizzlies just 3 of 12. But the 2 high-scoring offenses, one of them is going to get going. I hope it's the Grizzlies. And,
yeah, me too.
Can get the win here, and then thing is, if you're Memphis, if you lose here, you're gonna have to go try to steal one up in Minneapolis, and that is a very tough place to play for sure.
It is. Just keep the protesters off the court, because every time they protest, Minnesota wins. Just stop.
Minnesota's 3-0 in the postseason. You can't play a game when there have been protesters on the court. Which, by the way, great awareness by that security guard. She knew what was coming and immediately tackled. What a hit.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to her for that. But yeah, stop protesting. It's some chicken farm or something. Is that what it is? I think I've heard.
I think so.
Yeah. Someone said it'd be funny. It's like, man, what film was like eating chicken nuggets as it's happening from that? Whatever. It's like, yeah. Something weird about that. I don't know the details of it, but please stop protesting. Please don't run to the court at all during this series anymore, because it's only helping the T-Wolves, and I don't want that.
Right.
So yeah, good series overall. We figured it'd be a good series despite the T-Wolves being the 7th seed. They're a solid team. They matched up well all year with the Grizzlies, so they've shown that so far. And finally, final West series, you have the Pelicans and the Suns, and this one has gotten interesting.
Yes, it has.
Because it's now tied at 2. Devin Booker didn't miss the last game, but he looks like he'll be back tonight, I believe. So that gives another edge for the Suns. But Pelicans have hung around there, and again, it's been Jonas Valanciunas has kind of been going off for him, and also Jackson Hayes has kind of emerged this series. Brandon Ingram has done great. And the Pelicans, they are not going to go down without a fight in this entire series.
Yeah, they're playing very, very good, and have got the hands down best team in the NBA on their heels.
Mm-hmm.
And all thanks to McCollum, Valanciunas, and Brandon freaking Ingram going off, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. DeAndre Ayton did have a good game, and of course, Chris Paul is going to try to will the Suns in this series if he can, but only had 4 points in the last game, and that's really affected them because again, Ayton was the lead scorer. Second leading scorer was Johnson for them. So, JaVale McGee off the bench was the second leading scorer. Yeah, 14 points. A perfect 7 for 7 for JaVale McGee. Also had 4 fouls. So I don't know what, and this is all in 13 minutes. So JaVale McGee was like, I have limited time. I'm going to do everything. And unlike Tony Snell, who has all the time in the world and decides, let's just enjoy the game. Have some exercise.
Yeah.
Which Tony Snell did not play in the last game.
Whack. That's
disappointed. Disappointed in that one. This is why the Pelicans are going to lose this series. Let's see. This one was playoff games. I was hoping to list play. I want to see what his entire playoff stats were. Because I know he's had one game where he has legit done nothing. I think his game log only goes for regular season. Okay. What is his season high points? I want to see that. I'm seeing a 13 against Oklahoma City. Yikes. Yep, his season high in points is 13. Against OKC. That was a loss. Ew. Okay, this is when he was with Portland, though. This is when he was with Portland. So, he went 5 of 10, 3 of 8 from deep.
Okay.
8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 13 points in 36 minutes. So, still kind of just running around out there, but he did his part. And, of course, you have the legendary. Why'd you try to do stuff against Charlotte? 142-120. You're thinking, everybody scored in that game. Oh, no, Tony Snell did not. He took 1 shot the entire night, missed it, and he had 2 turnovers. You could have had the perfect game, Tony, where you just do nothing again. But, you don't want it enough, I think. Or you want it too much. I don't know how you'd decide on that one. So, that's the playoffs. Been exciting. Been a lot of fun. Celtics get a nice rest, I guess, because they'll have to wait for a while for their next game. Because I believe they're the 3 seed, right? Or 2. 2 seed. They're 2 seed. So they'll play the winner. They'll probably play. I think they'll play Milwaukee. The winner of that Milwaukee series. So Celtics just chilling right now. Going to see what they're going to do. That's really about it. That's all that's going on, man. It's not a whole lot. Baseball's kind of just started.
Yeah, baseball's whatever. I mean, it's hard to talk about baseball right now. We're what, 15 games into a 160-something game season?
Yeah. I mean, games don't really matter. I mean, the Braves.
What aren't the Mets like number 1 in the power rankings?
Yeah, the Mets are number 1 right now.
Who cares?
Yeah, it will not hold. The Braves are 7-10. Rosario's out 8 to 12 weeks, which is awful. But he's got his eyes worked on. But the good news is,
Jameis Winston maybe come back and throwing lasers in his first game. Let's hope his knee doesn't blow out.
Yeah. Good news is Ronald Acuna Jr. Had that minor league start.
Yeah, playing really good in the minors, and with Rosario being hurt, I'm sure that's going to speed up that timetable. So.
Yeah, supposed to come back the first week of May, and guess what? We're going to go see them the second week of May. So maybe.
Here we go.
Maybe. Are the Reds still sad?
Yes.
But without looking at the standings, they won a game. They won a game. They're now 3-13. Yikes! Who they beat? They beat the Cardinals 4-1.
Wow.
That ended their long losing streak. They're playing the Padres right now. They are getting Dolly Parton. They're down 9-5 in the 7th inning. So, not Not going great for the Reds still, man.
Yeah, no.
That was 11 games they lost in a row to start the season after splitting the series with the Braves. Already 6.5 games back of first place in the Central. So that's if you know a Braves fan, just go hug them and tell them, listen, the Bengals season's almost here. Gotta make it through the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking early, I mean, it looks like the closest division races, again, these do not matter. It's only 17 games in for most of these teams. Blue Jays and Yankees are going to have at least 10 wins. Mariners have 10 wins with the A's. So the A's finally playing to their potential, it looks like. Mariners might look to break that skid, but again, this could all mean nothing in literally 2 months.
Right.
Like we said, the Mets are the best record in baseball. The best win percentage in baseball. So that's the Dodgers. Dodgers 12-4, which we expected. Giants are behind the 12-5. The NL West is just stacked. It will be all year. That's really all we got to report on baseball because nothing's really happening and nothing really matters. But we talked about the sad cities in America last week.
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen this. This is from Barstool. Apparently, of course, the Oakland A's, nobody's going to their games.
Right.
They had a combined 6,451 fans at their last 2 home games against the Orioles.
Ooh.
Yeah. Their minor league team in one night drew about 5,000 fans, if you want to know the comparison, in a ballpark that seats 5,000 fans.
Yeah.
Apparently, there are an estimated 30 to 40 cats just living at the Oakland Coliseum, and no one knows how to get rid of them because they moved in during COVID. No one was working there, of course, and it's a big empty lot because, again, it's the football stadium.
Right.
And these cats are just chilling. And now I'm just thinking, what are you doing? If you decide I'm going to go to the Oakland A's game, you're just chilling on a Tuesday night, drinking a beer, having a hot dog, and this cat just walks up next to you. What do you do? And then just more of them start coming out the back of the stadium.
Yeah.
I would just be so confused.
Me too.
Yeah, I would be like, just let this team leave. Take them to Vegas. Take them to Charlotte. Just take them somewhere else, please. Like, very, very sad cities. I still think we can agree Detroit is the saddest city.
Yes, it has to be Detroit. And the more I think about it, the more they only have one, but Sacramento is got to be just so bad.
It's
got to be so bad.
I did throw Minneapolis a bone because Minnesota Gophers have won 6 straight bowl games. Did not know that until I was researching that video. Okay. And then the Minnesota Lynx have won 2 WNBA championships.
This is true. This is true.
They have lost, I think, 4 straight playoff series, however. So, not going great for them, but still.
Yeah.
They have 2 titles, so it's not all bad. It's not all bad. This was also since 2012. I was generous because, of course, the Heat have a title since then. The Indians, Guardians have a pennant since then. Seahawks have a Super Bowl since then, of course, but of course their declines are more recent. So, threw some bones towards some of these teams. Also found out the Miami Hurricanes have lost 5 straight bowl games, which made me laugh.
Beautiful.
One of those being a 17-0 shutout to Louisiana Tech and Skip Holtz.
Look, bro, ever since that 2001 season, the best college football team of all time, and then the year after where they lost to Ohio State on BS call, worst call of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should have had back-to-back. And look, I'm not a Miami fan. Please do not get that twisted. But my God, those 2 teams were so good, and they got robbed in that second year. But since 2000 and I'm gonna say 5, Miami ain't been good. Miami ain't been worth nothing.
Yeah,
and that really blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, the last good team they had was when they had Mark Ricks. Gotten 10 wins to the ACC championship.
Yeah.
Lost to Pitt and then lost to Clemson by about 30.
Right.
The ACC championship. So it still blows my mind that those 2 teams, they played Wisconsin in the Orange Bowl that year. And it was like, oh man, this is big. And it felt like big old school football. The next year, those two teams played again in the postseason.
Yeah.
In the new era pinstripe bowl. In Yankee Stadium on like December 12th.
Mm-hmm. If you go back for Miami, and you go back to 2003, they beat 2003. They won 11 games. They won the Orange Bowl over Florida State, which is ironic. I mean, obviously, they already played Florida State once that year, and then they played them again in the Orange Bowl, which is just their home stadium. Which that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And the 04, they went 9-3. And then they went 9-3 again, and they got smacked in the Peach Bowl by LSU 40-3. And maybe that was the downfall. 2006. Okay. 2006, they went 7-6. Still won a bowl game though.
Yeah.
And gosh, I forgot that Miami Florida State game used to be week 1.
Yep. It was on Labor Day a lot of times.
Yeah. Starting the year off right with some fighting. And then all right, 5-7. Okay. Getting blown out.
He's
Lost
right
the
up
last
before
4.
the end of Larry Coker's career. When they started.
Yeah. And then like you usher in the Randy Shannon era, and it's 7-6, trash. It's not good. I'm just taking it. Okay, they did go 9-4 in 2009, with a win over their arch rival.
I believe that was Al Golden's first year, and I was like, okay, this guy might have something.
They lost to Clemson 40-37 in overtime. Was that
that was the Jacoby Ford walk-off touchdown game?
Yes, Jacoby Ford from Kyle Parker, man. What a name.
3rd and 12 walk-off in overtime in the old Orange Bowl.
Wait, say that again?
I was at your house.
Yes, I was about to say that. You were 100% at my house.
What a game.
For that game. And I remember that very vividly. And then Miami goes 7-6 again the next year. Trash. And then 2011, 6-6. I mean, who was this? South Carolina? 2012, 7-5. Awful.
Well, during that time, South Carolina was actually good. So,
no, this is true. And 2013, they kind of put it together. They beat Savannah State 77-7. And Jameis Winston absolutely murdered them 41-14. Oh, and they lost to Duke by 18. We love to see it.
Yes, let's go.
That was Duke's year. That was the Anthony Boone.
Yep.
The Anthony Boone year with Jamison Crowder, and they lost to Manziel in the bowl game, and I was so pissed. But they also played Florida State for the ACC title game and had a lead very briefly, but they had a lead. And then 2014 Miami. Oh, what a glorious year for our Hurricanes. Starting 0-1. Then after 3 weeks, they're 2-1. Oh, they're 2-2 because they lost to Nebraska of all teams. Beat Duke, lose to Georgia Tech. All right, we're 3-3. Then they rattle off 3 straight wins with Brad Kaya. Remember that name?
Oh, my God.
Duke Johnson in the backfield.
Yep.
And they beat North Carolina. They beat Virginia Tech by 24. They beat Cincinnati by 21. They beat North Carolina by 27. I mean, they're torching people. And then they lose to Florida State, and then they lose to Virginia, and then they lose to Pittsburgh. And to round it out, who do they lose to? South Carolina in the first year. The downfall year. Miami is a more poverty more poverty college football team than South Carolina. You heard it here first. I don't care about 2001. I'm changing my stance. That's not even the best team of all time. Not even close. You lost a bowl game to South Carolina, and it was over.
Mm-hmm.
Those 5 straight years of beating Clemson and the 3 straight 11-win seasons were long gone.
Yeah,
and those were gone 12 weeks prior when we played Texas A&M on opening day. And
first game on the SEC Network.
Kenny Hill became Kenny Trill because everybody was like, "Oh my God, he's going to win the Heisman," and then he didn't do a thing the rest of the year. But he put 56 on Carolina. I'll tell you that right now.
Prime time SEC Network.
And we absolutely wasted. I'm completely getting off. Well, I don't even know if there is a subject right now. We're just kind of talking. This is a hill I'll die on 100%. The best quarterback to come through South Carolina of all time is Dylan Thompson. And I will die on that hill. because as a pure quarterback and like a thrower, nobody did it better.
Mm-hmm.
And now he only had 1 year. And that's I applaud him for that because, I mean, he sat behind Connor Shaw. Great. Connor Shaw, 100% the greatest quarterback of all time. If Dylan Thompson had more than 1 year as the full starter, like the reins, he'd have broken all the records because this man led the SEC in passing yards, and we were 7-6. If we had any shred of a defense, that team would have been pretty freaking good.
That team could have made SEC championship.
That team would have been very good if we just had any defense. All right, now look up the SEC standings for 2014, please. Trying to figure this out. Got me going now. I'm getting hot.
I know. All right.
Final standings. So South Carolina finishes 3-5, 7-6, and in the East. I mean,
when you talk about no defense, you are right.
Absolutely no defense, and we beat Georgia.
Yeah, the least amount of points allowed in a win to a Power 5 team.
Yeah,
20 in overtime against Florida.
Yeah.
Been 23-20. Because you beat Furman 41-10, doesn't matter. Beat South Alabama 37-12. Oh God,
I remember that Florida game very vividly.
Oh my God, they did beat Georgia. I forgot they beat Georgia that year.
Yeah, we beat Georgia in week 2 because obviously, it was like getting kicked in the teeth, week 1 against A&M, and everybody's like, oh my God, okay, that sucked. And then you come out and you play Georgia and you get that massive win
they had
over Georgia.
They had game day against Missouri and lost 21-20. And then
look, bro, please, man, look at that.
There were a lot of close losses. You are 1, 2, 3. There's 3 one-possession losses in here.
Yeah.
Like, you take those away.
Look, you beat
your only losses in conference play. In conference play is Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And it's Texas A&M. Or excuse me, there's 4 one-possession losses. Yeah, your only conference loss is Texas A&M, and your only other bad loss is Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, so South Carolina comes out, handles business. Say they come out and they still get thrashed by A&M. Okay, you come out, you beat East Carolina, you beat Georgia, you beat Vanderbilt. That Missouri game, you can win that game. Mm-hmm. And Missouri goes 11-3 and wins the freaking East and plays. Oh God, who'd they play? Oh, I guess they played Alabama for
they played Alabama, and Alabama being 42-13.
Yeah, so. That's right. I was thinking year prior. Anyway, yeah, I mean, that's a winnable game. The Kentucky game, winnable game. Obviously, you beat Furman. Then you freaking go to Auburn and you put up a fight in Tennessee and you lose in overtime. And Clemson was only a 2-score game. Now this was, see, if you had any shred of defense against
Sean
Clemson,
Watson doesn't walk all over you.
He doesn't even walk.
He limps.
He doesn't even walk. He limps out there, and he just throws it like this. His push passes all freaking day, and we can't stop anything.
His stat line for that game is hilarious because he didn't. They counted this as a pass. Dylan Thompson still threw for 249 yards in that
game. Man, this year was tough. Look, I was young enough to where I didn't care. I didn't fully care. Like, by the time Spurrier started at Carolina, that's when I was getting older, and I definitely started to care then. But those years, the Lou Holtz years, I ain't got no recollection of all that mess. I don't know all the heartbreak from years past and the one really good season in the 80s and all that kind of crap. I just know South Carolina football from let's say 2006 to now. And that was, a couple subpar years when Spurrier was getting his footing. And then all of a sudden in 2009, we beat Clemson. Okay, cool. And then it built from there. And the next year we were in the SEC title game. And then we had 3 straight 11-win seasons. So going into this year, things are good. Things have been, they've been middle of the road, but they've never been the basement of the basement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And boy, Texas A&M kicked me in the mouth, and that hurt. Boy, that hurt. I remember because I went home. That was the first year in college, and I went home for every South Carolina game. And I went home and watched it with my dad. And I just remember sitting there and just like, what happened? What just happened to us? And then we obviously rattled off we beat East Carolina, and then rattled off that Georgia win. But like this was tough. That Missouri game, 1-point loss. I freaking hate Missouri so much. Kentucky, obviously, I mean, God, can't stand them because we just can't beat them. Auburn, we've had very close games with Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, obviously this past year, we've beat them 2 years in a row, which is pretty gas. But that Tennessee game was tough. South Carolina held if I'm not mistaken, it was a 2-touchdown lead late, and they blew it. And it went to overtime. Yeah, South Carolina's up 40. A 70-yard touchdown run by Brandon Wilds to make it 42-28 with 4 minutes left. And Josh Dobbs, that no eyebrow having Josh Dobbs. God. That's tough, dog. It sucks.
This Missouri team made the SEC championship with the most chaotic team of all time, I think.
Yeah.
So their first game's against South Dakota State. That's a warning. They only won by 20.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Toledo. And win that game pretty good. Then they beat UCF. Then they lose to Indiana at home by 4. So they fall out of the rankings, go to South Carolina, beat them on the road. Then they got Georgia the next week on CBS. Game of the week. All right. They lost 34-0.
Yeah.
Then they beat the crap out of Florida. They beat Vandy by 10, beat Kentucky, beat Texas A&M on the road, beat Tennessee. They're ranked again. Beat Arkansas by 7. All right. You're going to the SEC championship. Nope. You lost 42-13. And then they beat Minnesota in the Citrus Bowl. This is the most chaotic football team I've ever seen in my life.
I agree, and let's not act like they didn't have a cakewalk in the SEC though. I mean, obviously the SEC East was the SEC East, and they did get thrashed by Georgia, the better team. It just so happens that Georgia lost to South Carolina, and that's how Missouri got in with one loss because I mean they played. The SEC East, which nobody below Missouri and Georgia was over 7 wins, which is, can happen. It happens now. So, I mean, it's nothing new. And then out of the West, they drew freaking Arkansas, who's 7-6.
I know why this team was chaotic. That quarterback, Matty Mock.
Yes, I remember the name.
This is the 1 year he started. So he didn't do great against South Carolina. The next week against Georgia, he went just 9 of 21 with 97 yards and 4 interceptions. Missouri's like, no, I'm going to stick with him. He got sacked 23 times that year. Ew. The next year, he only started 4 games. The next year, he transferred to Eastern Kentucky, started 2 games.
I did not know he transferred.
I did not know either. He then, oh my God, this is the funniest sentence of all time. In 2017, Balk signed with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Okay. To compete with the starting spot with former NFL quarterback Vince Young. In 2017, the Saskatchewan Roughriders had Vince Young and Matt Balk competing for a starting job.
Oh, they down bad, son. Jesus.
And then Matty Mock was cut from the team after 2 days of practice because he got hurt. Oh my!
What a career!
It also says, "Oh my God!" It also says he's still a free agent. Oh, I bet he is. Oh my God! What memories being brought up?
Yeah, I'm looking at the year prior, which was Missouri's. Like that was their year.
Mm-hmm. That was Michael Sam and all them, right?
Yeah. 12-2. They had Dorial Green Beckham as well, catching balls. And they had James Franklin not to be confused with Coach James Franklin.
Yeah.
Quarterback, and Matty Mock actually played 4 games and went 3-1. The one loss being South Carolina, ironically. But yeah, they tore it up that year. Obviously, they smacked Vanderbilt. They smacked Georgia by 15, smacked Florida, and they lost to a ranked South Carolina. They were 7-0 going into that game. They were ranked number 5 in the country. I remember that because Carolina was coming off, you guessed it, a loss to Kentucky, and South Carolina rebounded with that doink field goal with Todd Ellis and Tommy Suggs making a fantastic call. It's so stupid, man. They're so bad. They're great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they smacked Tennessee, smacked Kentucky, smacked a ranked Ole Miss who, wait, hold on. A ranked Ole Miss who, yes, only went 1-5 that year because of sanctions. We love that. And then Texas A&M beat them by whatever, and then played an unreal SEC title game. That's got to be the highest scoring SEC title game of all time, correct? With Auburn. And that year was chaotic. Look, we talk about 2007 as the greatest year in college football history because it is, and nothing's going to top that. Well, it could. I hope something does. That would be insane.
Yeah, this year came close.
2013 was wild, and specifically just Auburn. I mean, you got
Auburn was
the Hail Mary against Georgia, and then the kick 6, which is the single
craziest thing I've ever heard.
The single craziest / greatest college football play I've ever seen in my life. 100%.
Yeah.
Like that, I will never forget that. That was so crazy.
Auburn,
and I missed it because I was ready to watch Clemson and Carolina.
See, me too. And then what happened? ESPN cuts in. Oh, we'll get you back out to Columbia. Here's the kick 6. Oh, Sammy Watkins going to throw a pass right to the South Carolina defender in the end zone.
Yes, I remember. I'm so vividly. Bryson Williams caught that interception.
Yeah, I remember because I remember it's like, holy crap! I was like, why is Sammy Watkins throwing the ball? And he threw.
Who was he throwing? Was he throwing to Humphreys?
Yes,
was Humphreys on the team?
Throw the Humphreys. They tried to run that Philly special play.
Man.
And it didn't. And Taj Boyd was covered because they'd run it 4 times that year. So.
And that was 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the final. Yeah, that was the last time South Carolina won.
Yeah.
And that final score was 31-17. 31-17.
31-17. Because that was after the opening drive. It was like 3-0 or something. Yeah. And South Carolina took off from there and won.
And that was where was that at? It was at Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because Clemson that year, oh God, I got to watch Jameis Winston destroy my team in person. That was fun.
Spencer Seckinger. I'll never forget Seckinger.
First play of the game, Seckinger turns around, drops the ball, fumble. It was over from there.
I will never forget his name.
And then,
it was over from there. It was bad.
It was. God,
not good.
I remember I went to that game. I think that was the last game I went to that season. I may have gone to that Georgia Tech game. Maybe the year before. I went to one Georgia Tech game where Clemson was up by it was like a close game into the fourth, and Clemson, I think, scored 28 in the fourth quarter or something stupid like that to win it.
Yeah.
I remember they got a safety because the Georgia Tech player took a knee but was on the 1-yard line.
Mm.
And like 2 plays later, because of course that was when they ran the option, they did a pitch, and I think it was not Ben Bowler, Spencer Shuey. What the name was just standing right there and just hit the guy right in the backfield. And that's the loudest I've ever heard Death Valley in my life.
Yeah.
I also want to bring up some names on that South Carolina team and our quarterbacks on that South Carolina team in 2014 because they're amazing. Of course, you had Dylan Thompson starter.
Goat.
You also have Brendan Nosovich.
Yes, Nosovich. What a guy.
Connor Mitch.
Oh, yuck.
Perry Orth.
Oh, goat. Love that guy.
And Michael Scarnecchia.
Yeah, the greatest of all time. Give that boy a chance. Scarnecchia, screw Dylan Thompson. Scarnecchia would have broke all the records had they given him the reins as they should have.
But I saw those names. I was like, yes, I remember this team well.
Yeah, dude, man. Well, all right, so go back through that again. Nosovich came in very, very, very seldomly.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe had a rushing touchdown here or there.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dylan Thompson was the starter and had been there for years. Connor Mitch was the new guy who got the Yeah, he got the starting job the following year, and then had like a Bo Jackson type hip injury that literally almost killed him
Yeah.
because of like a blood clot or something.
Yeah.
And so obviously that didn't pan out. And then we ended up sticking with Perry Orth, who is now a high school football coach with AC Flora, I want to say.
Yeah, I think so.
And I got all the respect in the world from Perry Orth because we sucked. That wasn't the basement of the basement, but that was the basement. And it wasn't great that year. That was 2015. Because I mean, look at that year. We start out. Connor Mitch is the quarterback. Sean Carson's the running back. Pharaoh Cooper's a receiver. You've got some talent there. And we beat North Carolina 17-13 because screw North Carolina. And then what do? We lose to Kentucky. Shocker. Georgia absolutely hammers us with Perry Orth throwing for 66 yards. And then we throw in Lorenzo Nunez, who then went to transfer to Southeast Louisiana State. And then Perry Orth started the rest of the games. And that game at LSU, that was when the floods happened in Columbia.
Yeah,
so they had to change that game to at LSU, and ironically, that was when I was in West Point. Watching Duke and Army. I remember that very vividly. Hey, but we beat Vanderbilt, and Perry Orth threw for 272 yards. Brandon Wilds ran for 119, GOAT status. And then we lost, and then we lost 5 straight, including a game to the Citadel. So, yay!
Every time I hear Brandon Wild's name, I hear Silence's voice. Brandon Wild.
Oh yeah.
No, the sideline.
Every time I think of, I mean, the only thing, if I hear Brandon Wilds' name, the only thing I think of is the halfback pass against Clemson. I mean, and I feel like you have to. But if you look at South Carolina that year, like once again, like South Carolina was terrible. This was the year where Spurrier said deuces and left, which what you know what? It's fine.
Fair.
I don't care. Fair. I do not care. Those 5 years, yes, those 5 years where we beat Clemson every year. Thank you. I don't care. I don't care what you do after that. Appreciate it. You can come back and say I hate South Carolina. I love Florida. I'll never set foot in the state of South Carolina again. That's fine. Don't care. Thank you for your service. This team, 4-point loss to Kentucky. Okay, they got thrashed by Georgia or whatever. A 14-point loss to Missouri. They got thrashed by LSU. But 1 possession loss to A&M, 1 possession loss to Tennessee, both on the road. 10-point loss to a number 11 Florida. Obviously, should have beaten Citadel. And look, we're not supposed to lose to Citadel. I'm not trying to indict Citadel. They were a very good team that year.
Yeah.
But there was a penalty at the end of the game that was a Pharaoh Cooper touchdown. That was not a penalty, and I'm not upset about it. I'm not still upset about it. I'm really not, because I was working a Lander basketball game. Mm-hmm. This is like the beginning of basketball season for D2, and halfway through the game at halftime, I looked down at my phone and it was like, "Yep, Carolina lost," and I was like, "Huh? You have to be kidding me!"
I remember.
And then this team of all teams put up the best fight with Clemson that we've seen in 8 years.
I was looking at a Gardner Webb basketball game. I was like, "What?
How does that work?" Clemson's number 1 in the country, and after 1 quarter, it's 0-0.
Yeah.
And oh my God. Wow. Yeah,
that I remember that Citadel game because I was at Gardner Webb working the course, and there was a football game, and I think we beat Monmouth in overtime. Crazy game. Mm-hmm. We're just sitting there, and in the middle of it, they go, "Oh, final score from Columbia. Citadel beat South Carolina 23-22." I went, "Do what?" Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just want to talk about. By the way, I don't know why I got on this track. The 2014 Furman Pallets football team. Oh my God! Let's go game by game. They start off ranked 21st in the country in FCS. Pretty good.
I gotta find them. When did? Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. That was my first game as an equipment manager at Gardner Webb. They beat us 13-3.
Yep.
They go to Mercer, beat them 25-20. Their first loss of the year is on the road. They're ranked 12th in the country to the Presbyterian Blue Hose. 10-7. And from then on out, they lost to South Carolina State. They lost to West Carolina. They took Coastal, who's number 3 in the country, to the limit, 37-31 in overtime.
What year are we in?
2014.
Okay, I'm here.
Lost to South Carolina. Lost to Sanford 45-0. Lost to VMI 31-15, which that was VMI's only conference win. They lost to the Citadel in overtime 42-35. And so then they beat Wofford at the end of the year 31-14.
Thrash Walford.
Yeah. And then they get smacked by a ranked Chattanooga 45-19. So this talk about chaos. This was a weird Furman team.
What's that Furman quarterback's name? Blazejowski. I love it.
Yeah.
Presbyterian College, man.
God. Then they sucked for forever, and then 2017 they went back to the playoffs and won they finished 3rd in the SoCon.
If you go back to 2003 Presbyterian football, it says they only played 2 games, but they won them both. Undefeated season. They have a claim to a national title.
There you go. There you go.
2014. No, 2004. I can't read. All right, now we got full seasons. 2008, 2007.
I just texted you something because I was looking at. I wanted to go look at Texas's downfall before we got on this.
Yes.
Texas in 2009, the last year they went to national championship with McCoy. They beat ULM 59-20 to start the season. What is that? That's not ULM's logo on their schedule on their website.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that one more time. Wait. I'm seeing it. I'm starting to see it now.
Yeah.
What logo is that? Who is
Rose Ullman? I think they're like a deep
Rose
Greek
Ullman?
school. I'm pretty sure. That doesn't have football.
How does that work? How do you mix that up?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They also have a weird logo for Nebraska the next year. I don't know how this happened, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since then, that Texas stop saying they're back. They're not back at all. We need Texas and Miami to play each other to start the season, and just the hype train would be horrible.
Yes.
I would be so mad because, again, Texas start off the year great. I will get that. They started off great. They've then lost their last they lost most of the last. They beat Kansas State. I forgot they beat them. But they lost to Kansas. There's no coming back from that.
No.
You lost to
Not
Kansas.
at all.
57-56. By the way, I saw one thing. If you want to be sad, Kansas fans, Jim Harbaugh wanted the Kansas job. I saw an article. He interviewed for it, and Kansas said, but he wanted to coach Stanford in their bowl game. Kansas like, we're not going to wait. We're going to hire Turner Gill. And since then, Kansas has been horrible. So if you want to blame anybody, blame your AD from whatever year that was. So we're not doing that. So, yeah. It's a fun trip down memory lane, Waff.
Oh, yeah.
I guess. I don't know if that's fun. But anytime you get to talk Perry Orth, it's always fun.
Facts.
Anytime you bring up Matty Muck and Vince Young in the same sentence, just perfection. What a team this 2017 Saskatchewan Rough Riders must have been.
Yeah.
And now I need to look up what they went. 2017 Saskatchewan Rough Riders. 10-8. That's a winning season.
Very nice.
I don't know if that means they made the playoffs. They did. They made the Eastern Conference Finals at 10-8.
Okay.
Lost to the Toronto Argonauts. Who was on this roster? Okay, Vernon Adams was their quarterback. Vernon Adams was a legend, so never mind. This is actually a game. Marcus Bigpen, running back from Coastal Carolina, was on this team. Deron Carter, who's like a CFL legend. Let's see if there's anybody else on here. They had some good CFL players on this team. So it was actually not a bad team, actually. But man, Vince Young and Matty Mock at one point were in training camp for this team. Amazing. So yeah, Wap, you got anything to close out with?
Man, not really. I just want to. I don't know if we were doing top plays or not, but I feel like we should just mention Miguel Cabrera getting to the 3,000 hit club. Yeah. Which is amazing. He's been around for forever, and he's played for the Marlins. and the Tigers as well. And dude's a legend. I mean, 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, and have there ever really been any problems with him? I mean, I feel like he's done everything right. He's a guy that I think it's really hard to dislike, and he's a part of a very exclusive club now, and I'm very proud of and happy for him.
Yeah. If I look shocked, I apologize. John Morant just bodied somebody in the third quarter in a dunk. They're down by 11, unfortunately. But
yeah, they need to get it together. I'm getting pissed off.
Yeah, but John Morant just murdered somebody just now with a dunk in the quarter, so maybe that gets him going.
Hopefully,
it was disgusting. But yeah, I will be at the SAC baseball tournament all weekend, so I'm going to do that stuff on the SAC Digital Network. Thursday through Monday at Smoky Stadium. It's supposed to rain one day. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't rain. Don't delay this any longer than it has to be. And then the next time I talk to you, which I don't know when that week, I might be a college graduate for the second time. So
yes, sir.
I'm hoping so. I mean, I got 94 in this last class. So if I screw this up with 2 weeks left, that's on me.
Yeah.
Been a lot of hard work, been a long time. So I'm glad to get that done. If anybody's hiring, please, for the love of God.
Yeah.
I'll gladly take it for sure. But that's going to do it, I think, for us. Thank y'all for listening, watching. Hopefully the Grizz can pull this out, please. Love of God. And
yes, please. I'm trying to find the dunk. I can't.
It really just happened, so it might be a while. So, but he just bodied some poor dude. It was immaculate. I don't even think it's on Twitter.
No, I keep refreshing, and I haven't.
Oh, it's on Volley.
Oh, I see it. Oh, my God. Ooh.
Yeah. Mr. Hall tweeted, Jaws one of the few players to get positively arrested for dunking too hard and flagrantly.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, Beasley is set. Beasley is set 100%, and they called absolutely nothing. And I respect you. I respect them for that.
Yeah. They're like, nah, that looks cool, man. That's clean.
He is set. He is. Oh my God. He's there for 3 whole seconds.
Yeah. And he stands there and it's like, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for listening, watching, or whatever. See y'all at some point.